Magandang hapon, Malacanang Press Corps, and welcome sa ating press briefing ngayong araw, September 17. In today's cabinet sectoral meeting headed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the Department of Health presented the catch-up plans for the National Immunization Program focused on vaccinating children. It may be recalled that in 2021, the Philippines ranked number 5 amongst the top countries with zero-dose vaccinated children. In 2023, the Philippines was no longer in the top 20. While this is good news, President Marcos directed the DOH to intensify the immunization programs in order to achieve a higher fully immunized children goal. The Marcos administration fully supports the National Immunization Program with an increased budget by 40% from the year 2021 to 2025, and this was an increase of 2.3 billion pesos to fund vaccine acquisition and administration nationwide, and we will have the Secretary talk about that in detail further later on. A nationwide school vaccination program by the DOH and the DepEd called Bakuna Eskwela will be kicked off on October 7, where vaccines for HPV, measles, rubella, tetanus, and diphtheria will be administered. This covers grades 1, 7, and 4. President Marcos called for a strong media and publicity campaign in order to reach families, mothers, children, and the youth about the benefits and necessity of required vaccines. These programs are supported by all government agencies and the private sector. And of course, we here at PCO are counting on our media partners to please amplify this message that the theme, every Filipino deserves a shot at lifelong protection. This is aligned with the vision of Bagong Pilipinas. At para bigyan pa tayo ng detalye tungkol dito, kasama natin ngayon si Department of Health Secretary Teodoro Herbosa. Good afternoon, Secretary Herbosa.
Good afternoon, Daphne, and good afternoon to the Malacanang Press Corps. Allow me to give you details of what I presented to the President. Some of the highlights, I actually updated him on the National Immunization Program of the Department of Health of the Philippines. It's actually based on 3 laws, no? Yung Republic Act 10152, Mandatory Infants and Children Health Immunization Act of 2011, yung Republic Act 11148, Kalusugan at Nutrisyon ng Magnanay Act, and Republic Act 9994, the Expanded Senior Citizen Act. Dito sa ating National Immunization Program, nagbabakuna tayo ng labindalawang ng mga buntis, ng bagong panganak, ng mga infants below 1 year old, at mga children and adolescents, and of course, older persons, yung mga senior citizen. So, nagbibigay tayo ng a total of 11 vaccines sa bata before the 12th month, before 1 year of age, no? Isang dose ng BCG kontra sa tuberculosis, 3 doses ng pentavalent vaccine, 50 bakuna ito. Ito yung diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, hepatitis B, at Haemophilus influenza. At 3 doses ng polio vaccine at 2 doses ng measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. So, at nagbibigay din tayo ng pneumococcal conjugate vaccine sa ating mga bata. So may schedule yan, yung BCG within 24 hours pag pinanganak ang bata. Yung pentavalent, binibigay ito at 6 weeks of age, 10 weeks of age, and 14 weeks of age. Yung polio, binibigay namin sa 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and 14 weeks. At yung measles, mumps, and rubella, yung rubella, yun yung German measles. Binibigay natin to at 9 months and 12 months of age. So, currently, a total of 16 vaccine-preventable diseases yan. Kasi nagbibigay din tayo ng 2 sa ating pregnant mothers. Yung 2 yon ay ang tetanus at diphtheria, yung TD vaccine, binibigay natin sa mga buntis. At nagbibigay din tayo sa mga senior citizen, yun yung pneumococcal vaccine. So, ang good news, pinalita ako sa Presidente, na because of our National Immunization Program, na-certify na tayo in 2017 na neonatal tetanus elimination. So, eliminated na ang neonatal tetanus. May cases pa rin a few, but we are below the parang accepted. So, wala nang masyadong namamatay because of this tetanus and diphtheria vaccination sa mga buntis. And also, in 2021, we were declared polio eliminated na rin, no? So, these are achievements of the vaccine and malaki ang nagiging programa para sa ating mga kabataan. So, sinabi sa inyo ni Daphne, na bigay ni Presidente yung aking ni-request na full budget. First time po ito. Lagi pong 60 to 70% lang ng hinihingi. But this is the first time our President really allocated 7.9 billion para sa mga pangbili lang ng bakuna po yan. May pera pa para sa programa, yung mga allowance ng mga health worker, yung mga publicity para sa pagbabakuna. Nanggaling ito sa 6.4. So ang laki ng dinagdag, ano? And then naibigay din yung ni-request ko, yung human papilloma virus para sa ating mga batang babae. Yung human papilloma virus vaccine, yan ang nagpiprevent ng cervical cancer. Cervical cancer ang pangatlo sa number of cancer cases in the Philippines. And in other countries, binibigay na nila ito sa Canada, sa Australia, pati sa mga batang lalaki. Pero tayo, yung budget natin for many years, dahil medyo mahal ito, binibigay lang sa mga mahihirap na 9 years old. So indigent. So hiningi ko, dapat lahat ng 9 years old mabigyan to really do the 95% population immunity. So, mababa yung ating national status ng fully immunized child dahil po nanggaling tayo sa COVID-19. No? Nung COVID-19, walang pasok. Walang school-age vaccination kasi walang eskwela. So, maraming batang na-miss yung kanilang mga bakuna. Number 2, lahat ng mga health workers busy nun pagbabakuna ng COVID vaccine. Lahat ang gusto mabakunahan sa COVID vaccine. So na-delay tayo at bumagsak. Pinakita ko nga kay Presidente yung ating decreasing immunization rate. So meron tayong big catch-up, tapos i-restore natin yung dati nating immunization rate at i-strengthen natin ang National Immunization Program. At ito ay gagawin natin starting October. Ito yung ating programa. Inimbitahan ko si Presidente to help us and lead us in the Bakuna Eskwela. It is a libreng bakuna para sa grade 1 at grade 7. Bibigyan sila ng measles at rubella vaccine at tetanus and diphtheria. So makukuha na rin namin pati yung zero-dose children. Tapos yung grade 4 na babae, na batang babae, 9 years old ito, yung mabibigyan sila ng human papilloma virus vaccine or yung anti-cervical cancer vaccine. So may kick-off kami, no? Mangyayari ito sa October 7 sa Dr. Alejandro Albert Elementary School. At nationwide po ito, no? We will do the launch on October 7. Pero every Friday for the month of October, pwedeng magpabakuna ang mga batang gustong magpabakuna sa lahat ng eskwelahan ng DepEd. Kasama ko po dito si Secretary Sani Angara sa pag-launch nito at pag-implementa ng programa ng school-based immunization. So, dyan po nagtatapos ang aking briefing at I'm ready to answer questions.
SecTed, I think maybe we can also highlight infants. They're not covered by Bakuna Eskwela, but how is the DOH going to address the newborns and the infants?
So, nag-tie up namin kami dyan with Secretary Rex Gatchalian. Meron tayong feeding program. Yung kanyang feeding program, kasama kami dun sa first 1,000 days. So, pag nag-feeding program, na-identify namin yung mga buntis na babae doon sa feeding program. At nire-refer sa amin para mabigay yung bakuna ng buntis. At pag nanganak sila, we will make sure that they complete all the vaccines before 12 months.
Thank you. Okay, let's open the floor. Questions about the National Immunization Program and the catch-up. Okay, let's start with Eden Santos, at 25.
Secretary, good afternoon po. Ito po bang bakuna eskwela na ilo-launch nyo on October 7 ay sa lahat lang po ng pampublikong paaralan?
Correct.
How about the private schools?
Sa public school lang muna ito ginagawa. Ang private sector, usually kagaya ko, mga anak ko, pinabakunahan sa private pediatrician. Nagbabayad po kami. Ganun ang kadalasang practice. But we will accept siguro. Ako, ang gagawin ko dyan, if there are kids of that age, kahit nasa private school sila, yung malapit, I will make sure that the program will not refuse any child, kahit nandun sila sa nearby na private school, pabakunahan din natin kasi hindi lang namin under talaga yung... I'll coordinate with Secretary Angara about this. Basta pumunta sila, ang mangyayari doon sa school, alamin lang nung private school and then mag-tie up sila with the public school. And then we will, pag nalaman namin yung pumayag yung parents, kasi may parental consent pa to di ba? Para pag pumayag yung parents nila, isama natin doon sa mga bakunang dadalhin doon sa eskwela every Friday.
That's great news. It's really it's so important that you're considering allowing the private school kids.
In fact, I mentioned to the President, I need the help of the private sector. Kasi nakita ko nung COVID-19, alala nyo, private sector ang malaking tulong. Kaya na-reach natin yung 74 million na babakunahan. So the private sector really is going to help us improve this. And then, we're also, ang isang fact sa National Immunization Program, when we present data, hindi kasama yung data ng mga pediatricians na private. Hindi yun nire-report eh. So, we miss data by 10 to 15%. Yun ang sabi sa aking estimate. So, I'm trying to find a way to make it mandatory or online para madali lang mag-report. Pagkatapos niya mag-clinic, may pupuntahan siyang link, ma-report niya na yung ilang batang binakunuhan niya. Para makakount namin yon. I'm sure our figures will increase by 10%. Yun ang estimate. The private sector immunizes about 10% of the 2 million children every year. Ang total estimate is we like to vaccinate about 2 million, yun yung children born every year. It's about 1.7 to 2 million every year.
Okay.
So mabakunahan natin yun.
Next question, Raquel Bayan, Radyo Pilipinas.
Microphone.
Sec, for clarification lang po, ito pong nationwide na pagbabakuna natin October 7, mandatory po ito or kailangan pa rin po natin ng parents' consent?
Kailangan pa rin ng parental consent, of course, right of refusal pa rin. And then, ang usual process namin, pag may nag-refuse na parents, yung health workers na namin ang pumupunta at ini-interview, tinatanong bakit ayaw magpabakuna. And then we try to convince them, baka maling information, maraming nababasa kasi sa social media. That's why we need your help. Ako, nakatag ako lagi sa mga anti-vaxxer. Madaming anti-vaxxer. Siguro natatag din kayo, di ba? Yung mga storya. But these are nag-agitate and it's not science-based. When I look at them, di naman siya science-based, so I don't engage na. So we need your powers to help counter this. Kasi some believe, mabasa nila sa naniniwala eh. So,
Okay.
Meaning to say, Secretary, kapag ayaw po ng magulang, iisa-isahin po natin, napuntahan po para
pero
to explain.
hindi siya mandatory. No?
Okay.
It's not mandatory. Kaya nga 95% lang ang target. Eh. We expect around 5%. Either baka may contraindication. Kung minsan, sinabihan ng pediatrician nila or doctor nila na may allergy sa bakuna, hindi po pwedeng bakunan. So, research natin yan. Kung minsan, belief nila, religious belief, mahirap yata yun kasi that's their right, di ba?
Also, this would rely on the partnership with the local governments
And the private sector.
and the private sector because they're the legs on the ground.
Correct.
So sa fieldwork ko noon, nakikita ko namin yan na yung local government ang nag-a-approach, nagdo-door-to-door sila sometimes.
Yes.
Okay. Alan Francisco, PTV4.
Hi, Sec. Kamusta
Yes,
po yung coordination ng department nyo sa DILG? I understand sa smallest unit ng government sa barangay, sir.
Oo. So, may program ako ngayon, yung Purok Kalusugan. No? Talaga namang nakamonitor ang local government units. Yung fully immunized child are one of those parameters. Hindi sila mananalo nung seal of good government na binibigay ng DILG. Hindi sila mananalo pag sila mababa yung immunization rate nila. So talagang sila pa nga ang nagmamakaawa sa akin. Sige na, baguhin nyo na para makuha. Kung minsan doon sila lagpak. Doon sila lagpak sa So sabi ko, I cannot change that pero we can work together to improve the figures.
Okay. Maricel Halili, TV5.
Hi sir, magandang hapon. Sir, ano po yung wisdom bakit grade 1 and 7?
Well, yung grade 1, para sa ma-catch mo yung zero dose. Kasi if they get to DepEd school na hindi man lang sila nabakunahan, at least meron akong mga children na mababakunahan, especially for measles, di ba? Measles and TD yun eh. Yung measles kasi mabilis kumalat. Naalala mo, may measles outbreak ako last Holy Week sa BARM. Sa school nang galing yun. Kaya when we did the measles outbreak immunization, pati 9 years old sinama namin. Kasi we counted, mababa ang immunization ng BARM. So for many years, madaming batang lumalaki, and then magkaka-measles sila sa school age, maghahawan sila. Yung reproductive number ng measles ay 16. So isang bata, 16 na bata ang pwede nung... Naalala niyo yung COVID? 2. 1.5, di ba? 2. Isa makakahawan 2. Yung measles, ang bilis kumalat. So this is the reason why grade 1, tututukan na natin with the measles and TD and tetanus and So kung hindi sila nadala ng mga magulang nila for whatever reason nung COVID times, at least makuhuli natin dito.
And how about yung grade 7, sir?
Yung grade 7 is the 9-year-old girls, females.
Okay.
Yun yung kasi around 9 years old, around grade 7 yun eh. So before they become sexually active, yung HPV kasi has to be given before they become sexually active. So grade 4.
So, sir, does it mean na yung BARM pa rin talaga yung region na may pinakamababang immunization?
Hindi na.
Okay.
Well, for measles, dahil nag-measles outbreak kami, naka-reach kami ng 87%. We targeted 1.2 million children there. Naka-vaccinate kami ng 1.3 na vaccinate ay 1.2. So that's 87%. So doable talaga. Even in the BARM region, that's always mga nasa 40% lang. Nung nagtulong-tulong lahat, the local government, the BARM government, the DOH, nagawa namin. So, we're hoping with this campaign, ganun din kami.
So, sir, saan yung pinaka-problematic lang natin na area when it comes to immunization, and how far are we from reaching yung target natin na 95%?
Okay, so ang current status natin is 71% ang fully immunized child. Well, there are many ways to count now, no? Kasi nga, nung araw, 6 antigens or 6 diseases lang ang piniprevent natin. Pero today, we prevent 11. So yung to attain fully immunized, napakahirap. And other countries around us, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, ang binibilang na lang is the antigens deployed. So, mas marami kang bakunang na-deploy, mas maganda kasi many kids are given the vaccine. Pangalawa, yung mga bata na, yung iba dinadala ng nanay on the first dose, yung second dose hindi na dinadala, yung third dose hindi na nakuha. So yun yung reason pala kaya kami mag-grade 7. Yun yung booster din ng tetanus. Kasi kung hindi mo nabigay yung full 3 doses, kulang pa rin yung bakuna ng bata kahit nabakunahan siya once. Dapat 3 doon sa particular disease na yun. So yun yung very important, makomplete talaga. So we're now counting antigens. Total of 16 antigens na yan, kasama yung sa buntis at sa matanda. Pero sa children, 10 yung mandatory sa national program, dinagdag yung pneumococcal conjugate vaccine para sa luga, otitis media at pneumonia yon. Pero hindi pa yun ganun karami yung napoprocure namin kasi hindi naman siya mandated. Mahal. Totoo yan, mahal po yan. Thousands of pesos.
You mentioned the booster.
Yun ang lowest namin sa coverage is really region 7 at BARM.
Okay.
Yan ang mga ng fully immunized child. Pero nakita ko yung struggle namin sa BARM. Ang lalayo ng mga lugar talaga. They're really living in So, tapos ang isa pang struggle namin is really what we call logistics and supply chain management. Ang bakuna, kailangan naka-cold chain. Naalala niyo yung COVID-19, kailangan -70. Itong mga bakuna na to, at least 4 degrees lang to. Pero that still requires refrigeration. And alam nyo naman sa probinsya, namamatay ang kuryente lagi. So pag dinala ko naman lahat ng bakuna sa probinsya, bukas sira na yon. Kasi baka the whole night walang kuryente. Yung refrigeration, wala. So and then pag magbabakuna ka naman, nadidelay yung pag-deliver dun sa remote areas. So ito yung mga challenges na present ko sa President. and pagtutulong-tulungan, whole of society na tulungan na lang to be able to make sure. In fact, may isang soft drink company lumapit na sa akin, sabi, we're willing to actually deliver. Kasi sabi nung soft drink company, nakaka-deliver kami ng cold drinks all the way to the farthest island in the Philippines. Sabi ko, isakay nyo na nga yung bakuna namin sa mga truck nyo. Sabi nila, pwedeng pag-usapan yan. Sabing ganon.
Ganyan naman pag emergency, di ba, sir?
Oo. So, I'm thinking with public-private partnership, baka in the remote areas, madala yun ng mga delivery. Kasi paliit ng paliit yung truck nun eh. Meron silang truck dun sa big depot nila sa city. Tapos they have smaller trucks that deploy to the smaller. Yun ang wala pa kaming capability, and we need private sector to help us there.
Okay. Sam Danilia, Business Mirror. Microphone, please.
Sir, itanong lang po namin, na-mention po nila catch-up plan to. So, ilan po yung target ng mga children, yung parang hard figures na gusto natin mabakunahan for this?
Okay. So, every year we target about 2 million. So, ang current rate natin nasa 34% pa lang. So, about 1.5 ang natitira pa nun, ibig sabihin nun, of the 2 million. So, mga 1.5 million kids yung gusto nating mabigyan itong mga catch-up.
Tapos, kailan po natin expected makomplete yung 95% target natin?
Well, we're hoping every year nakaka 95% tayo. 71 lang ang nakukuha natin. With these two programs, itong school-based at saka yung catch-up, big catch-up, we're hoping to increase that by the end of the year, by December. So,
Thank you po.
And once you catch up, it's going to be an ongoing
yes,
program.
Ganito yan, after ma-catch up mo siya to 95, every year, may natitirang 5%. So, hinahabol uli namin yan every 3 years, nagkakaroon ng tinatawag na supplemental immunization activity. Nadinig nyo rin dati yan, di ba? Yung Mr. SIA, Measles, Rubella, supplemental immunization activity. I think we did that before COVID eh. Nag-ano tayo. Pero since pumasok yung COVID, walang nagawang supplemental. So dumami yung zero-dose children natin or yung walang booster. So ganun yung strategy nun. You never get 100%. You try to get 95 and then yung mga remainder, habulin sa catch-up.
Okay. Tuesday New, DZBB. Please pass the mic.
Please pass the microphone.
Thank you. Hi, sir.
Hello.
Change topic lang ako, sir. Leptospirosis. I understand nagtapos na po yung 2 weeks na, ang tawag nito, doon sa leptospirosis,
Incubation.
yung period of incubation. At may latest figures po ba kayo kung ilan po yung nadagdag sa leptospirosis cases?
Daan
From
yung,
Enteng.
wala akong exact figures now, but I know, meron pa rin kaming na-admit na lepto. That's what I can say. Kahit matagal na yung baha, August 18 ba tayo nagkabaha? And then 2 weeks after that, the end of August, September. Actually, may na-admit pa rin cases of lepto being reported in our epidemiology surveillance bureau. So, ang good news ko dyan, last week nag-meeting ang Metro Manila Council at yung MMC naglabas ng resolution na pinagbabawal sa buong Metro Manila ang, ano tawag dito? Maglaro, magtampisaw at pero kung ikaw lulusong sa baha para iligtas ang bahay mo, ang kamag-anak mo, hindi bawal 'yon. Ang bawal yung mga naglalaro, nagtatampisaw at nagtatambay, naliligo sa baha. Ang bayan pala ng San Juan, City of San Juan, has long had a penalty for this. Parang 500 to 1,000 pag bata, 1,000 to 2,000 pag matanda, pag adult. So, ang sinabi ng Metro Manila Council, led ang president yun, yung mayor ng San Juan, si Mayor Zamora, sabi niya, bahala na yung mga city mag-implement ng ordinansya on the penalty. Pero at least, kumampi sa akin yung naglabas ng resolution. So, I'm already very happy as a Secretary of Health na kumampi sa akin yung mga local chief executives na talagang mahal naman talaga yung lepto na ICU ka, tapos pwede pang mamatay. We have about 30 deaths since August 30. Madami-dami yun. That's still 30 deaths.
Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Sir, speaking of immunization, ano po yung possibility for the resumption of a nationwide dengue vaccine campaign using second-generation dengue vaccines. I understand before you mentioned that yung Japanese company has already applied for registration here in the Philippines.
So let me explain the science of the dengue vaccines. All of them we now know, after a lot of implementation and experiment, that the dengue vaccine has greatest value in the immunization of someone who has had a first infection of dengue. That means it protects them from the second, which is usually the one that is dengue hemorrhagic or severe dengue. So it prevents a more serious illness. So ang mangyayari dyan, it probably should not be a nationwide program. It should be a physician-based immunization. That means you go to your physician, the physician will review your medical history or if your history of previous dengue, and then probably do some serologic tests, and then will recommend to you if that is needed. As an update, we were informed that FDA is processing new vaccine. I won't say the brand, but it's from Japan, and it's also supposed the studies are superior than the previous one, than the first one. So I'm just awaiting for whether they will give them a CPR or what, sustained release or whatever issuance they would. When they do that, it's the private sector that will get it first. So then we will study it. By law, if that one is approved by, and we want to implement it, it goes to 2 steps. The National Immunization and Technical Advisory Group, which is a group within DOH, and then the HTAC, the Health Technology Assessment Council, which is under the DOST. This was placed under the Universal Healthcare Act. So pagpopondohan siya ng PhilHealth, kailangan dumaan siya sa HTAC.
Sir?
Ivan Mayrina, GMA7.
Speaking of dengue, Sec, you said in a previous briefing na ang increase po natin ay 68%.
Correct.
In cases. Are we sounding the alarm that it's quite a big number, 68%?
Yes. For the same period, so binibilang natin yan sa Epidemiology Bureau, the number of dengue cases, kasi endemic yan all year round. Although this is our season for dengue. So tinitingnan namin, kino-compare namin yung numbers this year with the numbers last year, January to August. And we have a 68% increase. So yung 100,000 naging 200-something thousand. So I think I announced that yesterday in our DOH press con. So, and then many LGUs have actually declared a state of calamity para ma-access nila yung emergency funds nila because their hospitals were full or nagkaubusan na sila ng blood in some of those regions. And that's region, Baguio City was one of them na nakita ko sa news. Region 3, Region 4A and Region 7 yata yung mga ni-report ko. So, reminders to all the people na tumataas ang dengue cases natin. We know that, for the past 3-4 weeks, there's a 25% increase, uptrend of cases. So, talagang dumami ang cases, so we're asking everybody to be more careful. Cleanliness ang sagot, vector control ang sagot pag may dengue epidemic or outbreak. We have to make sure walang lamok. So you can do that by making sure walang places where the mosquito can lay eggs and have a larva or kiti-kiti. And the mosquito for dengue is Aedes aegypti. It likes clean water. So yung mga naimbak na tubig ulan, ayun pala yung exact figure, 208,965 cases as of end of August. That's compared to 100-something for last same period. So, very important yung vector control. We're also bought mga adulticide, insecticide, and larvicide. Nasa regional offices namin to. And they usually distribute and help LGUs to actually use fogging methods to lower the vector. Especially kung may clustering. Ito yung communities that have more. Pero may scientific method doon. Hindi din basta inaano yun. They kind of circle it. Kasi if you just fog one barangay, the mosquitoes all transfer to the other barangay. Doon naman yung clustering next week. So sinicirclean nila yan. And then may technique. But we also supply and give to LGUs na wala. So nasa budget namin yan, vector control, materials. Pati yung pang-spray, binibigay na namin.
Sec, Sec, is it reasonable to expect the numbers to even go higher given that we are experiencing La Nina until perhaps the first 3 months of next year?
Well, I'm hoping we can intervene, di ba? Yung mga cleanliness, yung making sure our kids have tawag doon, mosquito repellent or wear long sleeves. It's a day biter, so probably they'll get it when they're outside
Sa school.
playing or in the school sometimes. Malinis ka sa bahay mo, doon sa paligid ng school, hindi. So it's also very important that we also clean up the whole environment.
Sa
May
mga,
time nga,
One-
I remember when I was undersecretary, there was an outbreak in the posh subdivisions. When I did an investigation, uso yung bromeliad.
sa garden.
The bromeliad, the water, di ba, it's like a cactus. The water goes on that and naglilay ng eggs yung mosquito. Sabi ko, ba't may outbreak dito mga mayayamang malilinis sa subdivision? Turns out it was the bromeliad. It was the fad at that time. Every house had a bromeliad.
Kasi parang may cup siya eh.
Oo,
Nandun
parang
na- nandun yung
baso.
mga tubig.
Parang baso.
Sec, sorry, may singit ko lang. In one of the photos in today's sectoral meeting, the president was wearing a face mask. Is anything ailing the president?
No, he just said he's under the weather. So I suppose it was his birthday last week. So mas dami ng bumati sa kanya. I'm sure someone passed him a bad bug.
Okay. We have time for 2 more questions. Alvin Baltasar. Mike, please, Mike.
Secretary, magandang umaga po.
Magandang
Secretary, kanina sa sectoral meeting, any directive from the President regarding doon sa preparations nyo sa bagyong Ener?
Well, ang directive niya talaga is really the campaign, no? Sabi niya nga, I was asking for an executive order. Sabi, alam mo yung executive order, pag governor kami, binabasa namin yan, tapos tinatapon na namin yan. So, to him, what's more important was really the campaign, the media campaign, to tell people, ang bakuna, dati na tong bakuna na to. Hindi to, itong mga measles, polio, tetanus vaccines, lumang bakuna na to. At effective talaga sila. Worldwide proven. They're safe, very little complications. So sabi niya, kailangan talagang massive. He was asking for a massive campaign. So I do hope matulungan niyo ang Department of Health in that aspect. And really educating, a lot of them is really people who don't realize, especially our lower socioeconomic classes, nakikinig sa rumor and then naniniwala sa rumor. So we hope that with valid information. And then ang sabi ko sa kanya, sa radyo po talaga ang pinapakinggan. He agreed kasi yung radyo naka-on lang daw the whole day. Talagang yun na nadidinig ng nanay. Yung nanay yung nagdadala ng bata sa bakunahan. So it's very important ma-reach natin sila ang importance ng pagbabakuna.
Secretary, ang tanong ko kanina, yung any directive from the President in connection with Typhoon Ener sa inyong agency
In
Typhoon.
sa bagyo?
sa bagyo, hindi namin
Nabanggit ba ni
napag-usapan
Presidente, may
kanina.
directive po ba sa inyo?
Walang
Wala
directive kanina tungkol sa bagyo.
Secretary, anyway, iabol ko lang na itong question na ito. Nag-birthday si Pangulo noong Friday at magandang balita yung zero balance doon sa mga pasyente.
Okay.
Ilan yung nakinabang nag-benefit doon sa announcement ni Pangulo?
That's a good question, but I think I will count. But ang masasabi ko kasi, nung sinabi nila, sana all. Kasi PGH, all the public hospitals, pinalibre niya. Kahit yung private na pasyente doon. But what I can tell you about universal healthcare, alam niyo na-achieve na natin ng universal healthcare sa poor. Pag indigent ka, pumunta ka sa public hospital, gagamutin ka. At kompleto naman ng mga DOH hospital ngayon because of syntaxes. We have CT scan, MRI, nagagawa lahat and libre lahat. Yung tawag natin no balance billing. Actually, to me, we have achieved universal health coverage for the poorest Filipinos. My problem is kayo, the working class. Kasi kayo, yung out of pocket nyo, nandoon pa rin. Kasi when you go to even a public hospital, a social worker will evaluate you and say, you have income, you can pay. So yun ang goal ko. My goal at the end of my term, na sana pati yung out-of-pocket, actually sinabihan ako ng President, gusto niya lahat ng public hospital libre. Kahit na sinong pumunta doon. So, I don't know if I can attain that, but I will try to get there. Kasi yun ang directive niya. That's gonna be going back to the time his father was president. Kasi when his father was president, pag pumasok ka sa public hospital, wala kang babayaran. Naabutan ko pa yon. I was still an intern and a resident. Pag pumasok yung taong grasa sa PGH, pag lumabas yun, naligo na yun, gwapo na, nalinis na, naoperahan pa. Libre talaga lahat. Lahat ng laboratory, libre talaga nun. Pati gamot.
Well, thank you so much, Secretary Arbosa. I was just advised that you have a meeting, so we have to conclude this press briefing. Again, thank you for briefing us on the National Immunization Program and the catch-up plans. And to our friends in media, October 7 is the Bakuna Escuela. So thank you in advance for your support. This concludes our press briefing today. Thank you, Secretary Arbosa and
Thank you,
Malacanang
Daphne.
Press Corps.
Thank you, everyone.